Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
It's that time again. Back to school.
And I'll show you what the chefs are eating.
And if you've ever wanted to get to know your biome, you can do that with your iPad.
That sounds bad. It's all coming up next on iOS Today. iOS Today is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your online activity today for 3 months free with a 1-year package. Go to expressvpn.com/iOS Today. Yay! iOS Today time. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Megan Morrone.
And this is the show where we cover the iPhone, the iPad, the Apple Watch, the Apple Pencil, Apple TV, WatchOS, tvOS,
The Apple coffee cup.
the Apple mug,
No, that's not
the
that
Apple $200 leather pouch that doesn't let you charge. All of this and more on today's show.
It's great to see ya.
Great to see ya, too. How do you like my outfit?
It's quite nice. You look dashing and
Is it hot?
handsome.
Do I look good? Yeah, see.
I just thought I would try out how it feels
How does
to,
it feel?
to
How's it
comment on
feel?
your clothing.
How does it feel?
Powerful and kind of gross and not good at all.
Oh, no,
actually.
you're lying. You felt great. Welcome to the show. We're don't mind us. We've been together
Ignore
too
us.
long.
Yes, just ignore us.
We're bickering now. Megan and I cover iOS stuff because it's fun, it's fascinating, and we love our little iPads. Are we going to be replacing our little iPads with big iPads in a month? Only time will tell, as they say on the local news.
Yeah, with iPads and iPhones, we've gone bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And I am going to go out and say this is the perfect size for both
10 and a
devices
half?
for me.
Yeah.
The only size I'm going to change is if they get a new Apple Watch, I'm going to go back to the smaller one because I have the 42-inch Apple Watch because the Series 0, the battery would never even last the day. So I thought I had to go bigger. But now they've refined it so that even the smaller ones, the battery lasts all day and then some. So
You know, it's a hoot.
what?
The Samsung announcement, the Note 9 announcement this week, they announced a new Samsung watch. The small one is 42 millimeters, is the size of this one.
I said 42 inches, didn't I? I meant 42
That would be rather large. That would be too big for me even. The small one is 42 millimeters. The big one for better battery life is 46 millimeters.
Oh, yeah. Is it, and it's round or is it rectangular?
It's round. So maybe round is, I don't know. I feel like you'd be like Biggie Smalls or something wearing your big watch on your
Yeah, I know.
hand. I think it's better to, 40s, for me, 42 is fine. For you, you should get 38.
Yeah, I think so. And then, the big watch thing, Serenity Caldwell pointed this out, that when you have a big watch, the style of the big watches, the big round watches, is for them to fit loosely like a
That's
bracelet.
right.
But it has to fit tightly so that it measures your heart rate. So,
Right. Do you notice when you work out, especially when you work out intensely, that the watch gets confused and sometimes says your heart rate's half what it is? Mine does that fairly frequently, and I keep tightening the band and trying to, get it right. And it says, yeah, you're working really hard. Your heart rate is at 68 beats per minute. And it's like, no, I know it's faster than that.
No, when it's not recording my heart rate, it just goes a little gray. Yeah.
Sometimes it'll get the gray too.
Yeah.
But it does a fairly good job. It's just that sometimes my trainer will tell you, I'm going, come on. I want to know, what is my actual heart rate?
Exactly.
Because I want credit.
Yeah.
It's all about the credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk about back to school today. Back to school time.
I thought that would be an opening for you to show.
Oh, you want me to show? Okay.
I'm very proud of this.
Yes.
My activity rings.
Let's show Leo's activity rings here.
Yesterday, I worked really,
That is amazing.
really hard. Actually, this is from Reddit, the Apple Watch Reddit subreddit. It's a guy who says, you know what it is? I forgot to turn off the activity. And I was playing golf, and I never turned it off. And golf is such a low energy activity anyway that it just thinks you kept going all day. Just
That's me, every workout.
Every workout, all the way around. I thought that was cute.
That is cute.
I wish it were my ring. My ring, it usually stutters and fails before the end of the day.
Yep. Well, right now, what are you at? You are
I just began the day, so.
It says 0 steps. You're dead. Leo is dead.
I can't possibly be right. Can't be 0 steps. Look at it. Look at it go.
Yeah, look at it go.
Couldn't possibly be 0 steps.
Okay, back to school. Kids are going back to school. They're starting school. They're going back to elementary school, middle
started
school,
yesterday.
Yeah, my
10th
kids.
grade.
Oh, yeah, my daughter starts 10th grade next week, and the boys start 8th grade. Kids are going to college. All kinds of things. So we've got
time for mom to settle back and have a nice hazelnut coffee.
Exactly. So for college or for high school where you need... Why do you hate the smell of hazelnut?
I love the smell of hazelnut. I don't like the smell of artificial hazelnut.
You don't think they crunch up actual hazelnuts into that Keurig coffee?
Read the K-cup.
Okay.
See what it says.
Okay, so... Back to college or high school, you might be buying your kid an iPhone or a laptop. And our friend Becky Worley, who works for Good Morning America, she did a segment, and we have an article that you can link to too, about whether to buy refurbished or what you should not buy refurbished. So there's our friend Becky, and she gives a lot of really good recommendations. And, basically,
They made her do this in Central Park?
They did, yes.
Wow.
This is her whole segment on Back to School Like a Boss.
Back to school like a boss.
She basically says, she explains the difference between seller versus manufacturer.
Yeah, only get
refurbished.
manufacturer
Yes, don't
refurbished.
get seller refurbished unless you have money burning a hole through your pocket. And she recommends don't buy a phone refurbished that's older than 2 years.
In general, my advice is to buy refurbished gear from the original manufacturer if it's still current, like it's the current technology and it's still under full warranty, which most original manufacturers do. Because most of the time that actually isn't a used device. It's a device that was purchased and returned.
Just
they
opened, basically.
Yeah, just open, maybe use a little bit, but not really used. And they can't resell it as new. Now, that means you're not going to get as big a discount as you would get if you got something used. And, it's not a bad thing to get a used device, say, from Gazelle, one of our sponsors, if the company certifies it and backs it up with a warranty and all that stuff. That's where you'll get big, big savings. So if you're really budget constrained, I don't think that's a bad idea if you get it from a reputable third party. But if you want something that is really, if you're going to buy a new MacBook, you really should look at the MacBook refurbs. If they're the current edition, from Apple with the full warranty, because it's essentially the same as buying it new, but you're getting a few $100 off.
Yeah, it's not much. And I like the idea of buying refurbished, just, that little tiny thing you can do for the environment.
Yeah, it's like, why get a dog from a puppy mill when you can get it at the pound?
Exactly, a refurbished dog.
Refurbished. Get the dog, refurbished, don't buy new.
Yeah, that was basically how we got our dog. Someone took him home, the dog ate their cat, and so they sent him back to the shelter, and now we have him, because we don't have cats.
Yes, only houses without cats could adopt.
Yes, exactly.
So if you ever wanted to bring Waldo over to our house, that would be okay.
His name is Gilbert, and I'm not
close
going
to Waldo. Aren't Waldo and Gilbert pretty much the same name?
I am not going to take my cat-eating dog over to your house.
Is that really the true story that Waldo was...
That's what we suspect. That
they didn't want to. They wouldn't say that out loud.
They wouldn't tell us that. No.
They just said, just tell us one thing. You don't have cats, do you?
Yeah, basically. All right, wait. Let's
Jan Gilbert has a lean and hungry look.
Should we have a live parenting moment here?
Yes.
I have just been asked by one of my children if
they could buy Tomb of the Mask.
Tomb of the Mask. Let's take a look at this. Huck would like to get Tomb of the Mask. What do you guys think?
I think Huck should get back to school. Sooner than later.
I know. He doesn't start school there.
It looks like Pac-Man meets Tomb Raider.
It's free.
Kids love these 8-bits. Nothing is free.
Look, it's editor's choice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
See what the in-app purchase situation is. Can you? They took that out, which is weird. You don't see what the in-app purchase prices are anymore.
Absolutely addictive. Why would I want that for my child?
No, it looks like fun. Oh, there you go. But see,
in-app purchase $2.99, 5,000 coins.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah.
What do you think? I think sure. Why not? It looks like fun.
I'll say Leo says yes.
It's interesting that you require permission of your children even for free stuff.
Yes, I did. Well, yeah, I do that. Can you specify free and not
Maybe
free?
not.
Because he downloaded this QR code scanner, and it was a subscription service. It was $50 for the year.
Oh.
And so I saw that, and I got the email that said $50 a year. And
you know that QR scanning's built into iOS.
Yes. And he said, "Oh, don't worry, I deleted the app." And I was like, well, okay, well, you have to cancel the subscription. He's like, "No, I did that." And then I got charged. And then I called and I said, and they gave me, they said that was okay. You don't have to do, you don't have to pay. We'll refund, but turn this feature on from now on.
Yeah,
so
that's a good
what
idea.
We did.
Apple got in a lot of trouble because of in-app purchases costing hundreds of dollars to parents, and got a lot of heat for that. There might have even been a lawsuit. I can't remember, but in any event, Apple's become much better about that, which as they should, right?
Yes, exactly.
Wow, $50. Wow.
Yeah, but they refunded it.
It looks like a fun traps-filled labyrinth. You know what's interesting? This is one of those games that looks like the old games, right? The 8-bit games that you and I used to play in our youth. And I love it that the kids are kind of interested in this stuff again. I can imagine. I have a feeling we will get a request from Michael any day now.
Oh, you have requests on too?
I can't remember. It's not me. It would be Lisa that would have them on. But Michael's pretty good. Before he spends anything, he comes over and asks us and all that. So I think so.
Yeah. All right, so I have an app. This is an oldie but goodie for back to school. This is college too, although you can calculate anything with it. PCalc.
Love PCalc.
And I also bring it up not just because it's a great app, but James Thompson, who's the creator, is going to be filling in for you on one of the weeks you're gone. On
no
this very
kidding!
Show. Yes.
Oh, how that's awesome.
Yes.
Good job. That's exciting.
Yeah, he's a great guy and super friendly, and I love his app. I love the design of it, and I just reached out to him. He's like, "Oh, I'd love to do that." So he'll be coming on because I figured it would be nice to have a developer come on and talk about developer stuff. Plus, he's just an Apple fan. So PCalc is not free. It is $9.99. So make sure you really need a calculator.
Well, it is kind of pricey, but it does all the things, including the scientific calculating stuff that kids in 8th and 9th and 10th grade often want.
Right. So you can calculate pi, and it also lets you...
you mean you don't have that memorized?
I have only 3.14 memorized.
Oh, well, that's
maybe to
usually
1.
enough. Yeah.
I like this feature of PCalc, the tape. So you remember the old ask your parents about the tape that used to come in calculators, which shows all the things that you have, all the calculations that'll show there. And this is nice too. You can swipe to undo and then swipe right to redo. So if you're in the middle of... Let's clear that. If you want to do 10 times 10 times 9. Oh, wait, I didn't mean that. And then you can swipe and go back or swipe and go that way and see that. And so see the tape records that. I love PCalc. It's a great calculator. It is for your iPad, for your iPhone, for your Apple Watch. I think there's even you can have it in your... what's this thing called again? The
that thing that you have that's over
the
there.
The widget area.
The Today notifications.
Yes. So you can, if you find yourself really needing to calculate at all times, you can, I'm going to add PCalc to my widgets.
Having a calculator right there is very handy.
Yeah.
That was actually, and you might ask him when he's here, the source of a little controversy, because at first Apple said you can't put that kind of functionality in the Today notifications.
Why?
And pulled it. Well, you should ask him.
I will ask him.
Because that was a big controversy. He won, and Apple allows it now. But for a little bit, they didn't allow PCalc.
Well, because this is something crazy that I only learned this year. There is no calculator app on the iPad.
Yeah, and so you really need it, and maybe that's why Apple backed down.
But why is there no calculator app on the iPad? It doesn't make sense. I'm always calculating. Always be calculating. That's what I say. Yeah. Always be calculating.
PCalc is definitely the best one. There are some others, and I've actually in the past talked about some of the other oddball calculators. For instance, there's one that you can write your calculations.
Oh, are you finding that one now?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I put it. I have so many folders.
Oh, it's what was
it MyCalc?
Yeah.
This is from the MyScript guys.
Yeah.
Let me try typing.
MyCalc.
I must have removed it. But that is another good one.
Here, I have it.
Yeah.
This one.
So So it's a blank page, but you can write in calculations, including things like the sum. Yeah. Is that pretty awesome?
That is pretty awesome.
So I think it depends on the personality of the person doing it. And of course, this you can do with your finger, but if it's a lot easier if you do it with a pencil. So if somebody's got an iPad Pro, yeah, right, exactly. Look at that. 2 times 20, the square root of 20. Is that what you meant to do?
No, I meant 20 divided by 2, but
okay.
I wonder why.
You can edit it.
Oh, you can edit it?
Sure. Oh, you're doing that for divided by. Yeah, try the, don't do that. That's the square root symbol. So, oh, nice. It's getting a little more complicated. And by the way, you notice that it can solve 4? Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a really cool.
Oh, it also shows all of your calculations.
Yeah, it does. It's got a ribbon. It's actually really, I think PCalc is probably more intuitive and simpler for the, calculator set. But MyCalc is kind of cool because you can write. It's from the MyScript folks, and they've really got very good handwriting recognition in all of their stuff.
MyScript.
Yeah,
yes.
MyScript is also a note-taking app. But I'm going to show you. Note-taking is one of the things older students need to do a lot of. Actually, I would say even from 4th grade on, the teacher's going to put stuff on the board and expect you to remember it. And initially, they'll teach you to do it on paper. But if you've got an iPad, it's a great note taker. We've shown before a couple of these, but I'll show them again just so you know. Notability is one of my favorites. Remember Otter from last week? Notability is kind of similar. It allows you to record. Let's take some notes, and then as you record, take notes along with the recording, and then play it back and see. Now I have, because I'm in math class, so I have my notes are in graph paper, but you might have other kinds of notes you want to do. If I'm recording, so I'm recording now, and as the professor is saying, well, don't forget that pi equals 3.14159. And when you play back that recording, it'll highlight that part of the thing. So that's kind of neat. So I think this is a very, I don't want to delete recordings, thank you. I think it's a very handy thing to have because a lot of the times you're going to have a, let's play it and you'll see. Recording. So I'm recording now, and as the professor is saying, well, don't forget that pi equals. So it's tied to my note is tied to the actual audio from the lecture. So I think this is a really handy thing for students. It's going to be mostly useful for high school and college kids, and college for sure. This is one of my favorites. It's called Notability, and it's easy to remember what Notability does because it has a pen with a microphone on it. But there are other note-taking tools that I recommend highly. GoodNotes is very similar to Notability. It will, gives you all the same kinds of. You have a highlighter and an eraser. I think for a student, you really want an iPad Pro with a pencil for a student in secondary or higher education, because the pencil and these two combined are really, really handy. So this is my notebook for, coding notes and things like that. So I was trying to calculate what it would look like to have a snake eating its own tail and all that stuff. So this is a really nice one too. This is called GoodNotes. If you're doing research, and a lot of authors swear by this, Scrivener. Now, there's a Scrivener for the Macintosh. This syncs with Scrivener for the Macintosh, which is very handy if your student is also using a laptop. But you can use it to do research. A lot of people like Annie and Akko will do their writing in here, and then have the research pinned. It's like think of it as a cork board in effect for all your research, so that you could put the research here and have the writing to the right, and it syncs, as you can see, and that way you can use it on the Mac as well. So as you're doing your studying, Scrivener is kind of a very powerful tool that will let you, for instance, write sections of, frequently when you're writing a paper, you don't know what organization you're going to use, but you might write, well, let me write the paragraph on the Pilgrims here, and you can then reorganize it and print it out. A lot of people, I'll show you the research because that's kind of cool. Maybe that's not in here. Okay. I thought it was. Yeah, there's a cork board you can use, which is really cool. Then finally, one more thing, which is just been updated, and we kind of forget about Goodreader. When the iPad first came out, this was the PDF program of choice. If you deal with PDFs, and most students do, you're gonna have a lot of PDFs. Maybe the professor's going to give you reading handouts, that kind of thing. This is a great way to keep track of your PDFs, to create new PDFs, to annotate your PDFs. I have to say the current version, which just was released I think last week, is a little more elegant. The original Goodreader was kind of clunky, but I think, and forgive me, Goodreader folks, but I am giving you a nice plug, so you should thank me. You can have pictures, PDFs, even plain text files in here, and yes, it has audio playback as well. So there's some really nice features to this. I'm just whipping through these because they've all been picks before. In fact, when the iPad first came out, Goodreader was one of the first apps we recommended for it. So that's how long it's been out. But I think it's worth taking a look at GoodNotes, which is a very simple note-taking app. If you're going to be doing recording, then you're going to want to have Notability. Notice that's on my front page. I use that one quite a bit. Great for meeting notes, too. It doesn't do the transcription that Otter does, but it allows you to kind of take your own notes and then match it to the audio. Scrivener, if you're doing a lot of research. Nebo is, by the way, another handwriting-based recognition program that's good for notes, too. I'll add all of those to your shopping list, and then you have to decide. Look at the descriptions and see which one you want to use. And Goodreader, of course, if you deal with a lot of PDFs.
I noticed there's one missing there, Evernote.
Yeah, I stopped using Evernote.
Well, I'm going to make the case. This is their sort of 10-year anniversary. Harry McCracken has a great piece in Fast Company about the evolution of Evernote. They say they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary, but really it's 20 years. They've been sort of around.
It's a complicated story because the Evernote you use is not the Evernote that started. It started on Windows as a infinite scroll shopping list program, and that was many years ago. Phil Libin came along, bought the company or merged the company with his company, and they modified it somewhat to be the ultimate note-taking app, which it really is. And they made it available on iOS, Android, Macintosh, and Windows. And so for many years, it really was the note-taking app of choice. And I was probably its number one proponent from day one. I was a big fan of Evernote. The reason I stopped using it is they started charging not insignificant subscription fee.
$70 a year.
Yeah. And there are many other choices free, including Google Keep, which isn't quite as organized. And then I started to go more privacy-oriented for my notes and using my Synology Network Attached Storage, my NAS, which is a big drive I keep in my wine cellar because it's cool down there, and it's attached to my network. And then I use DS Notes, which is the basically I imported all my Evernotes into the Synology DS Notes. It's got a to-do list. I don't know if I should show my notes because, well, I can probably show a few of them. I keep serial numbers in there. I keep, you can see I have all my notes, my notebooks. I can show my notebooks. Serial numbers. I have notes for talks, travel. All my notes are in here. And so I've used that for years. It's basically exactly the same as Evernote, but there's no subscription fee once you buy the NAS. It syncs in all the same places that Evernote does, but it's completely private. No one else has access to your notes. Evernote does have access to your notes. It doesn't have some of the really advanced features Evernote has. For Evernote, you can take a picture of something and it will transcribe it. But and that's probably why you're paying for it. I'll have to read Harry's story.
Yeah, it's interesting. And Mike in the chat room says he still uses Evernote for free. Maybe if you only use it on one device, and maybe if that device is
there's limits
iPhone.
On the free version, and they really got more aggressive about pushing.
Yeah, because I had not used it for years, but I went to look at it, and
it's still the most powerful thing out there.
Yeah, it would not let me use it on the iPad without paying the subscription. Right. But, when I went back and looked, my notes were from 2010. I had notes for a novel that I was writing in 2012 that was never written.
Oh.
But you never know. I mean, after I get the lawsuit money, I might be able to
that's one of the advantages of Evernote is it's kind of permanent, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think you're right. I think we should probably recommend Evernote if you don't mind the fee.
But that is, it's $70 a month. I think it's a little cheaper if you do month to month. $70 a year. $70 a month.
That would be too much.
$8 a month. $70 a year. So, yeah, it's a lot. Okay, I have another app to recommend. App Camp for Girls, founded by Jean McDonald,
Yes.
who was Smile on my Mac. She founded that. They do a camp every summer for girls to learn coding, and they have an app. This came out last year, but I thought it was a cool little app to show, when you go back, you ask
Did we mention we're doing back-to-school apps?
We did mention
Okay,
that.
good. Just so
Back
you know.
to school. We get distracted sometimes, but that's why you love us. This is mostly good for the iPhone, but kids made these apps. So do you want to see if you can survive middle school?
No, I know I can't.
Okay, let's start. What do you bring for lunch? Apple, sandwich, junk food, school lunch.
Sandwich.
Okay. The halls are packed and you can't find your classes. What do you use to survive? Tissues, scissors, random 8th grader, or a map?
Random 8th grader.
You're in the lunchroom and you can choose to sit with popular girls, nerds, jocks, weirdos.
Ask me again. Nerds, for crying out loud.
You are falling asleep in class. What do you do to stay awake? Spin a fidget spinner. Bang your head against the desk. Pinch yourself. Give in and fall asleep.
Give in and fall asleep, I believe. As I remember from 8th grade.
At the end of the day, a crowd of kids comes charging at you. What do? Hide inside the closet, stand still, fight your way through the crowd, run.
Run.
You survived. 10 years later, you became a beach house millionaire.
What's neat is that in the App Camp for Girls, they make teams. Somebody does the graphics, somebody does the coding. And so it's a really great way, even if you're not a coder, to be part of a coding group, a coding team, because there's lots of roles to be played. It's really a great idea, and Jean is wonderful. So the App Camp for Girls app. I love it.
The quiz compendium. And maybe they'll have another one that they'll release. That was last summer, so hopefully they'll release another one.
Neat.
Do you have any other apps?
Oh, I could go on and on and on.
We're always learning. We're always going back to school.
I have a whole folder called Education.
Okay, pick your favorite.
We got to remember Swift Playgrounds. If you want to learn to code, Apple, if you have an iPad, Swift Playgrounds is Apple's way of teaching coding. And what's great about Swift Playgrounds is there's the stuff that Apple did, but there's new stuff being added all the time from third parties. It's really fantastic. A great way to learn how to code that will engage even younger kids. I think 8 and 9-year-olds might be very interested to play with this. So highly recommend it. That's a great one to start with. What else is in my education? Well, I don't think learning knots is really important, but iTunes U is a great addition for anybody who wants to get an education, college-level education, without going to college. I think that's one of the best things about the modern world and the modern internet is many universities, MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Duke, have put their courses online. One of their most famous courses at Stanford is iOS, iPad, and phone app development. I have the old one here. They update this every year. This is from fall 2011. You won't be able to get this, but that's fine because you want it to be up to date. And so there's programming assignments, there's lectures, video lectures. I think any good MOOC, which is a massively online classroom, every good MOOC should have the ability to have a discussion group because you learn well from peers. It's always great to have. These are posts from the instructor. These are course notes, audio, video notes, and all the materials, which include the lectures. And this is free. iTunes U, and it's not just geeky subjects, economics, philosophy, anything you want to learn, you can learn at iTunes U. If your student is getting an iPad, install that on there for sure. I don't know if they come with it. I think you have to add it later, but install that. Absolutely a must-have. You see, I have a lot of programming language stuff. We've mentioned in the past, if you're studying a text, whether it's Hamlet or in this case, T.S. Eliot's Wasteland, there are often fantastic apps that are designed around the text that give you, it's kind of like, we would go out and buy the Cliff Notes. This is even better. I
would not go out and buy the Cliff Notes.
You read
Don't include me.
Really? You're not that kind of person?
No, you weren't either.
No, I wasn't either. But sometimes you want a study guide. You might get the Bloomsday book. Here's the original manuscript. This is from Touch Press, and I'm not saying this specifically, but if you're studying a text, look and see if you can find in the App Store, because a lot of these exist. The works of Shakespeare and on and on and on. And it really is a very much more engaged. Students today expect something a little more than just dry text on a page. Wolfram Alpha, that's a must-have, right? You should always have Wolfram Alpha. It's a fancy calculator, basically. But it's not just for numbers. It's for words and linguistics, so you can look up definitions. It's for economics. You can say things like, compare Apple versus IBM, and it'll do a search, and it'll give you stock prices, it'll give you fundamentals and financials, recent returns, price history. You can get all. This is the most amazing thing. You tied this in with Scrivener. Do your research in Wolfram Alpha, culture and media. Let's find out more about Rear Window. Compare Rear Window to Vertigo, two of my favorite Hitchcock movies. I mean, the comparisons alone are endless. You ever wonder about the name Megan? Mm-hmm. You probably wonder about it all the time. I know I do. What do we know about Megan? Let's look it up. The name Megan, its interpretation. You are 499th. The peak year for Megans was right around your birthday, 1985.
Oh. Yes, 1985.
Yeah. Expected number of people named Megan alive today, 421,342. Yep. Most common age is 20 years old.
Huh. Interesting.
Estimated current age distribution. So not a lot of 90-year-olds named Megan.
No. I have, this is accurate. Most Megans are younger than me.
It's a Welsh diminutive of Margaret. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. We could also use it as a solar system feature instead, if you prefer. The Megan crater on Venus.
Oh, really?
Did you know you had a crater named after you?
No, that was so sweet of you.
Wolfram Alpha. Yeah, I bought it. Wolfram Alpha is endless fun. You can just go on and on and on, and they give you what's nice for a kid who doesn't know. Like, what do I do with this? They give you a whole bunch of sample searches, so you can really, what the daily nutrition facts are. The nutrition facts for peanut M&Ms.
No.
Well, you probably don't want to know.
How many?
But you could find out.
Oh.
Look at that. Look at all the theobromine in there.
You got to get your theobromide.
It's good stuff.
What is theobromide?
That's the thing in chocolate that makes you fall in love.
Oh.
I think. I may be wrong. But Wolfram Alpha would know. So as you can see, I have a fairly large folder with education stuff. But there's a few. We shouldn't forget Duolingo for language.
Yeah, my kids, that's what they're hopefully doing right now. That's what they were supposed to be doing.
What language?
Spanish.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, I have one more that I thought that this looked like a relatively new app, but when I searched for it, just to make sure we'd never talked about it before, Sarah Lane talked about this app in 2014, Photomath. Do you remember this? It'll take a picture.
And solve it?
Yes. So I've got this lovely math paper that I found in the pile of...
Oh, that's not going to work.
Let's try this side, where it's like the problem.
The actual problem,
that he didn't solve.
The printed problems.
Is there a camera there that you can look at, Kevin?
There isn't, but
there isn't?
I'll hold this up while you do it. Okay.
We'll
go back a little bit.
I go to the camera, and then we'll take a picture of...
That's cool. These are the problems from Keystone Algebra 1, simplifying exponential expressions.
Mm-hmm. And
this is Huck.
Yeah. So this is what it did.
He got 14 out of 14. He did really well.
So then that was the problem, and it found it and it solved it. But that was
64 meters to the 9th.
And we'll also solve graphs if you need to graph. So so you take a picture. Let me see. I think you could see better if we do this. Let's just see what it thinks.
That seems like that should be banned from classrooms everywhere.
Yeah, probably. You probably could use it to cheat if it was on your phone.
Probably. Exactly.
Yeah. So there we go.
Holy cow. Wow.
Notice
that's
how
cool.
I poo-pooed the Cliff Notes, but
it's
I was like,
smart.
yeah, you want to cheat on math? That's fine.
It's pretty smart.
So Photomath. There you go.
Yeah. So, interesting. I'm actually working on a similar application myself.
Are you really? Mm-hmm. To take pictures of math?
Sudoku problems.
Oh.
I have written a Sudoku solver. I've mentioned this many times because I'm so proud of myself. And now I merely have to make it easier to get the problems in, because right now you have to type all 81 numbers in a row. That's a lot of work, but it does solve it. So what I want to do is make it a picture. Take a picture of us. I think such a thing exists, but not written by me.
You can popularize it.
No, I wouldn't do anything with it. I just think it's kind of fun. I'm one of those people. I kind of like to do that stuff. It's fun.
So I've been using a new VPN. They are our sponsor.
Oh, they're so good. Have you been using it?
I have been using it on my MacBook, and I have not been attacked since I started using it. But it also
except by me.
Yeah, but also my stuff hasn't slowed down, or I haven't noticed.
That's the thing that's kind of amazing.
Anything.
Yeah, ExpressVPN is the best, one of the biggest and best known, and absolutely the #1 trusted leader in virtual private networks. You know what virtual private networks are, or do you? The idea is you protect yourself and your privacy by surfing the web using a VPN. The virtual private network, people became aware of these when they first started using them to connect to work, right? And in those days, you had to install special software. It's very complicated. ExpressVPN makes it simple. Whether you're trying to hide your tracks from a snoopy internet service provider or trying to, work at a coffee shop without risk, it's really nice not to be tracked. ExpressVPN protects you. It's easy to use apps, run in the background seamlessly, whether it's your computer, your phone, your tablet. You turn it on with one click and boom, you're done. And because ExpressVPN has servers all over the world, speeds are very fast. There is normally a lot of overhead with a VPN, but ExpressVPN, as you say, you never notice it. And there is a side effect to that. Because they have servers all over the world, if you want, you can use their server in the UK to appear like you're surfing the web in the UK. So if there are geographic restrictions on programs you want to use, or you just prefer to look like you're coming from somewhere else, this is an easy way to do it. It secures and anonymizes your internet browsing by encrypting your data, hiding your public IP address. You can safely surf on public Wi-Fi without being snooped on or having your data stolen. Tech Radar called this the #1 VPN server. I know a lot of you are looking for VPN services. A lot of you know what VPN is. And for those of you who are trying to find out which one is the right one, you got to try ExpressVPN. 30-day money-back guarantee, less than $7 a month. And they don't log. If you want to, look at all the check boxes, they don't log. They do everything right. Protect your online activity today and find out how you can get 3 months free with a 1-year subscription at expressvpn.com/iOS today. That's expressvpn.com/iOS today. expressvpn.com/iOS today. Look there. See, Mac, Windows, Android, iOS, Linux, routers, and I don't know what that thing is on the right, but it does that too. What is that? It does it.
A laptop?
It looks like a panda print.
A desktop? You mean BlackBerry. BlackBerry.
Wow. Okay. Deal, right? They have Chrome, Firefox, and Safari plugins. It makes it very easy. You can even use their media streamer on the Xbox, on the PlayStation, Apple TV, and Fire TV. You really are protected and secure with ExpressVPN. Go to expressvpn.com/iOS today and get that big discount. 3 months free with a 1-year plan. ExpressVPN.
So apps with subscriptions, do there seem to be more apps that are using the subscription model in your opinion?
I know where you're going because you read the article about Apple pulling in, a couple of years ago, 2017, pulling in a bunch of indie developers to their, first of all, the most interesting thing I found out from this New York Times article was that Apple has a fancy loft in New York City. I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
They brought them to their fancy loft and they said, guys, you got to stop charging one-time fees for your apps. And the reason Apple wants people to stop, it's Business Insider, not the New York Times. Sorry.
Kit Lefswig.
Kit did a great job on this. The reason Apple didn't like this is because it was basically depressing the price of apps. Mm-hmm. And you know this, right? Apps went from used to be $150 to buy an app, then $20, and on iOS it's like 99 cents. Mm-hmm. So that's problem number one. And developers are a little, I mean, they went for it, but it's not great for them because they get $1, and then 3 years later they're expected to keep supporting the app, and that revenue is long gone. So Apple said we've enhanced our subscription methods. We're going to make it easier for you to make a subscription app. We would like you to do that, and as an incentive, after somebody subscribes for a full year, we did know about this. They changed their policies. It goes from 30% going to Apple. And Apple gets 30% of all app sales and 30% of all subscriptions. But if your customer subscribes for a year, we're going to cut it in half to 15%. It worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
There are a lot. And there some, as I mentioned before, that QR code, it was a QR code app.
That's taking advantage of people.
Yes, because first of all, the QR code
is built in.
Is built
you don't
in,
need it.
And I don't know how that got through the app. Well, I know how it got through the App Store. It probably didn't. It's like there's not a law against giving something.
That gets scamming people.
Well, that's the question. I've seen a lot of coloring book apps that are now subscriptions service, several. So I think that is questionable as well, especially if you're dealing with kids or you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, you want to download that coloring book app. And then it's like $10 a week or something like that. And, parents don't really notice. They're not paying attention. And I think we could all do a little bit better about paying attention when we, click accept. But I think there's something questionable about that. And you don't see, of all the things that Apple complains about, things that kick stuff out of their app store, it seems like a scammy app like that, a $10 coloring book, $10 a week coloring book would be something, but you don't hear about it.
Yeah. So I have mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, I think as users, we kind of go, oh, really? I got to pay every month or every year to use that app? And we're all kind of conditioned to the idea that you buy something once and you own it forever. But apps are a little different. I mean, you buy a toaster oven, you use it forever, but it doesn't ever get updated. If it breaks, you pay to get it fixed after the first year, right? So I think that's applications are a little different. Somebody who writes an application is almost certainly keeping it up to date, looking for security flaws, looking for new features they can add. They're continuing to work on it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind paying $1 for an app that never gets updated, but I don't think it's unreasonable for a developer to ask for a regular subscription of some kind to support continued efforts. And this has become very controversial. Customers don't like it. I understand you might even say, well, Apple's just trying to figure out, not only does the developer get an annuity, an annual revenue, but Apple gets annual revenue, and it's been quite a bit of annual revenue from its subscriptions. So this is more greedy than it is good for consumers. But I think I would disagree. I think it is good for consumers. And where it's really controversial is in routers. And this happened when Plume announced that when we sell you a Plume router, it's not like a toaster. We are going to continue to update it all the time. It uses artificial intelligence to learn what's going on in your house and to shape your bandwidth to be more efficient and more fair. And that's going to take continued work, continued updates on our part. And in order to get those, you need to subscribe. And it's something like $80, $90 a year. But the thing that Plume did that everybody got upset about is, and if you don't, your router won't work. That bugged them. But I would submit a router's not like a toaster oven, that you do want it to be continuously updated. And if you're continuing to get features, I don't think a subscription is a bad thing. So that's the cutoff for me. If the developer walks away and says, but you still have to pay me every month, no. But if the developer is actively developing a program and you're getting new features all the time, it isn't a toaster oven. It's something very different, and it's not unreasonable, I don't think, to ask for a subscription. Nevertheless, very unpopular with customers, and I'm sure the effect of this Business Insider article will be that people will be upset.
Yeah. Well, I think part of the problem is the App Store sells everything. Like an app, it's like when we talk about podcasts, like, there's podcasts are so different, apps are so different.
Right.
Like, Snapchat, which obviously no one would want to pay for the Snapchat app, is very different than Evernote.
Right.
Like they're completely different animals. Like if Evernote is the tool for productivity that I've chosen.
There's the irony is that I wasn't willing to pay $8 a month for Evernote.
Right, but I mean, because you have all these, you've done research, you've seen all these alternatives.
I found something that could do better.
But if Evernote is the one that I've always used, and it's for my business, and it's
worth
the
it.
one, yes, it's a tool.
Yeah.
But Snapchat, you're never going to pay for. And that's what the coloring book subscriptions, like, is that something like, would you really ever spend $8
Do you get
a
new
week?
coloring books?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're subscribing to.
But
you get a new magazine every month, you're paying a subscription. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Okay.
But and then the other thing, and somebody in the chat room has already said this, well, I can't afford that. But that's not how the world works. You don't get to drive a car, any car you want. If you can't afford it, you can't get it. It's not Apple's. I mean, I think people say, well, I spent so much money on the iPad and I've spent lots of money on apps. I should get stuff for free. It doesn't work that way. The developer who's writing the app doesn't get his rent and food for free. So stuff costs money because you just have to support the people who make it. And I guess maybe some of this comes from my own experience in life, that free apps, free services on the web, there's two things can happen. Either they go away or they're not well supported, or B, they figure out another way to monetize, like spying on you. Mm-hmm. And I think in a way, it's a much cleaner, more straightforward thing to say, no, it's going to cost you $1 a month.
Or there's the other category of like something like the Oak meditation app, which is Kevin Rose's app. And
he gives it away.
He gives it away because he's already made money and it's just what he's chosen to do.
But I think people should act, and we do, as if that's a gift. That's like Kevin saying, you know what, I'm going to, because believe me, that app costs a lot of money to make. I'm going to give this to the world. And treat it that way. Say, thank you, Kevin. That's a great gift.
Right.
But that's what it is. It's a gift.
Yeah.
And Kevin is paying the developer, believe me.
Right. And you don't necessarily accept, like I was comparing, because I use Oak and Jason uses Headspace, which he pays a subscription fee
for. Or Calm.com.
And, and we were just discussing, like, he's on a certain program on Headspace
you
that,
get more.
Like teaches you how, because I was like, I'd still sit down there every 10 minutes. I'm like, when is it over? I can't meditate. My mind is going crazy. Whereas like so it's like he's paying for a service and I'm accepting a gift from Kevin.
Right. And by the way, you get more with the service.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't be mad if Kevin doesn't give you more.
Right.
You didn't pay for it.
Right.
This is a hard one because I think expectations are. What's happened is we have expectations from a different world where apps and websites were free, but that really wasn't sustainable. And so we're free, but you pay for the podcast by watching or listening to the ads, and that's how we pay for it. Mm-hmm. And maybe part of this is because now that I have a business, I understand a little bit better that stuff costs money, and you have to pay for it somehow.
Right, and it's a different relationship with your audience as well, right?
Well, and that's the other side. I mean, I'd love to give it away, and when I get independently wealthy like Kevin Rose, I'm still going to charge you.
But there are lots of podcasts that go by the subscription model or the Patreon model.
That's completely
and
legitimate.
It's just a different model than what we do.
We actually thought about that. For the first 3 years, we were going to do that, but it wasn't enough. Not enough people subscribed. It works for one show. It doesn't work for the dozens of shows that we do. So it wouldn't support what I wanted to do with Twit. I think we have to really rethink our expectations. I know people, their gut reaction is going to be, oh, thanks, Apple. It used to be $1 apps. Now it's $1 a month. Pfft, thanks, Apple. But I think that actually is not an unreasonable thing for Apple to do. As with a lot of what Apple does, it both is good for the world and good for Apple. It's okay to have both.
Mm-hmm. All right, should we tackle a few questions from the viewers?
Yes.
Bobby asks, I have an iMac in the kitchen office and an Apple TV in the living room. Is there a way to stream music simultaneously between the two devices? With AirPlay, it appears that my only option is to choose between one or the other. I'm not sure if it makes a difference, but my home theater in the living room is hooked up to a network-based surround sound system.
So that's the old AirPlay way of doing things, one device at a time. AirPlay 2 supports something called multi-room music. That's what you're looking for. And so if your devices get updated to AirPlay 2, his Mac is, right? His iOS devices are? I can't remember if that's an iOS 12. I think they did update those.
In iOS 12 or 11?
I think they updated in 11. But anyway, it'll certainly be here by 12. But look for AirPlay 2. And you need AirPlay 2 on the device you're playing to as well. So it does now. You can have multi-room sound with a HomePod, right? Mm-hmm. You can put a HomePod in one room and HomePod in another room. They can play the same thing, or they can play different things, all from the same source, right?
Well, it depends. I asked this on Twitter because I wasn't sure either. Micah Sargent said it depends on where the music is coming from. From iTunes, yes, definitely.
Because there's enough horsepower to do that.
So in iTunes, you select which. This is what Bob said. Select which speaker you want to play to from the AirPlay menu. So, but that's just one at a time. I don't know if you can select more than one of those at a time, but it looks like you should be able to. Then why if this is, if you
can with AirPlay 2, you can do multi-room.
Okay. So, but we don't know if AirPlay 2 is in the beta or not.
I think I am pretty sure it came out in iOS 11.4.
Okay. You're pretty sure.
Scooter X looked it up for us. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's in everything, but it has to be in your hardware too. So that's the key. Is it's been updated in software, but the hardware also has to support it.
Okay.
Apple TVs, I think, do. I bet they do. So anyway, yes, you nailed it, which is this wasn't possible. It's the same thing with Bluetooth, by the way. Bluetooth doesn't do multi-room sound yet. Maybe it will.
Do you do a lot of multi-room sound? Like I haven't used that feature on any of my Amazon Echoes.
I do it with a Sonos all the time. So and that was one of the original selling points of Sonos. It was one of the first things ever to allow this, where you have a Sonos system. These are wireless speakers. You buy one at a time. You put them all over your house. And you can say on the Sonos app, which could be on an iPhone, iPad, Android phone, computer, you say, in this room, Barbara Streisand, in this room, Neil Diamond. They could play different things. Or you can go into what they call party mode, same music everywhere in the house. And that for years was Sonos's secret for success. They were the only one that did it reasonably. More and more you're seeing that capability come out, and AirPlay 2 was a big change for Apple.
And do you do that with your HomePods? Because don't you have 2 HomePods now?
Well, one HomePod's here,
and
one in Lisa's office, and one's at home. If I had more, which I refuse to do, because I have Sonos already.
Yeah.
Lisa says we should get more HomePods. She loves the HomePod because it's easy. It works with Siri. She's got it, so it's doing what she wants. Sonos sort of kind of works with Amazon's Echo, but we have enough trouble with that. The Echo say, well, you can't do that all the time. So it's easy if you use the app, but she doesn't want to use an app. She wants to use her voice. So HomePod is a good choice for that.
Stan, who is often in our chat room, Hawaii Cop is his handle. I use my iPhone as my car radio via Bluetooth. The trouble is that whenever I do that, the watch shows a fast forward, pause, rewind kind of thing.
Right.
When I'm driving, I want to look at the time. And the above shows up with little tiny numbers up on the upper right corner. And it's darn hard to read. How do I get rid of this unwanted function? I could not figure out how to get. I know exactly what he's talking about. It's the Now Playing app, which when you're playing something, it will. I think. Let's see if it'll.
Can you take music off the iPhone, and would that do it? If you uninstalled Apple Music, on the Apple Watch?
Oh, that's a.
I guess you can't.
Okay, so here I'll play a little Nicki Minaj and see. This is what it is doing.
Now, if you press the stem,
this
the winding stem,
okay, yeah,
it goes back to the time.
Yeah,
so it's,
but he
doesn't. I completely understand. It does the same thing to me.
So you just press the stem. I'm sorry, Nikki.
Press the stem, Stan.
Sorry, Nikki.
Press the stem, Stan.
Press the stem. Oh,
but he doesn't want to do that because he's driving.
Want to do that right when he's driving, but. Can you turn off that feature?
Are
you looking around for that?
I'm looking. Well, I'm wondering. I'm in the Apple. Let me go into the Apple Watch app, and I'm in the Apple Watch app, and that's where you uninstall stuff. So I thought, well, maybe if I uninstall music, but look, there's no way to remove music from your app, so I don't see it there. I wonder if you took Now Playing out of the dock.
Oh.
How about if we did this? Let's take Now Playing.
Edit. You have to hit edit.
Edit. And move it out of the dock.
Ooh.
Do not include. How about that? I bet you that's it.
Now I'll play some music.
So now I've got my watch here. I should have done it before and after, but let's just play some music on my...
It does it with podcasts. It does it with everything.
Yeah, it does it. No, not Google Play Music. It probably doesn't. Of all the things it probably doesn't do, maybe it actually does it. I know it does it with my Audible. Oh, crumbum. Don't look. I have to sign in for some reason. I just did. And it wants me to sign in again. I like Apple's support for security, but sometimes...
Yeah, when it's not easy for us.
Well, shouldn't it just use Face ID? I mean, shouldn't it be sufficient?
Yeah.
Right? So let's play Scary Monsters.
Okay.
By the way, I hate doing this. You know why?
Why?
Because now whenever I get in my car,
it's going to be playing
Scary Monsters. Scary Monsters. And it's very hard to stop it. See? Oh, it's doing it again. Even though I disabled it.
Yeah.
It's not in the dock, but I guess that doesn't mean it won't do it.
And so if you press the side button, will it also do that same thing as the digital crown?
Oh, should I do it again? Let's do it again.
Wait. How to...
Side button.
Stop now playing.
Now that puts, see, that's your chance to re-add it to the dock. So taking it out of the dock doesn't actually, so that's not good. Let's see if there's another way to do it. Taking it out of the dock doesn't actually stop that now playing thing. There has to be. Has to be a way.
Oh, let's see.
All right, look, here's a 9 to 5 Mac article. We found a 9 to... Thank you, Alex C. in our chat room.
WatchOS 4.
How to stop now playing and audio apps from automatically opening on the Apple Watch. And how do you do that?
Let's see.
It's a long article.
Disabling auto launch altogether means you need to open the Now Playing app. So didn't you just disable auto launch?
Oh, I can do it. Can I do it from the Now Playing app?
In the wake screen in your watch app. Go to the general wake screen in your watch app.
What's that mean?
So your watch app on your iPhone. So means. General settings. I don't know what
that means. General.
Wake screen?
Wake screen. Wake screen. Wake screen and wrist raise, wrist screen. Auto launch audio apps. Turn that off, baby.
Okay, now let's try.
Now let's see how much you'd pay. All right. That's a really good tip.
Yeah.
Let's go back to music. It would have been
even better if I'd done some research before.
No, we like to do it on the fly. All right, now I'm going to play this Scary Monsters in nice Sprite.
Look at that.
But I want it, so I'm going to turn it back on.
Stan, we did it for you.
But what you can do, you've got it in the dock, so if you press the side button to go to your dock, you can get to it very quickly. So maybe that is the preferable way to do it, right? Is have it not pop up here, but press the side button, and because I added this to my dock, I can quickly go to it. Okay.
Okay, we solved the problem. That's amazing. Well, I don't like. I'm
actually thanks to Alex C in the chat room. We appreciate that.
I said we
Alex C looked it up
all together. Solved the problem. I'm going to do that because mostly I listen to podcasts and I just use the Pocket Cast.
The reason I like it on my watch is because it's mostly when I'm driving. Like, okay, now I'm going to get in the car. My phone's going to attach to the car, and that song is going to start playing, and I'm going to be really upset. But fortunately, I just look at my watch because you can't pick up your phone in California, many states. You can't pick up your phone now. But if you don't spend a lot of time looking at it, you're kind of allowed to look at your watch, and you can stop it.
All right, it's that time again.
Is it app cap time? I like to be able to stop it.
Oh, whoever wore this cap had a very small head.
Probably Henry.
Okay.
What does it say? Imperial. It's got two things overprinted.
I don't know what it is.
There's an Imperial Stout. That actually looks like the Russian Costa Rica. La Cerveza de Costa Rica. It's Costa Rican beer.
Oh, of course.
And mine is Australian bong. Billabong.
No.
That's actually, no, it's like the Build-A-Bear store. Have you ever been to the Build-A-Bear store? It's like that.
No, it's not. Kids, shut your ears. Actually, that's not the worst thing you've said in the last hour. So
I don't dare ask.
Okay, so we're wearing caps because it's app cap time. Our favorite app of the week.
It's app cap time.
And my favorite app is from a company called Tiny Bop, which I've mentioned before because they make great kids apps. And at the beginning of the show, I told you that we were going to check out our biomes. You thought that was gross.
Well, your biome, just for people who don't know, is the several pound mass in your gut of bacteria and other things.
Is it? I thought your biome was like the nature around you.
That's another way to use that.
I'm not your own personal biome.
Okay.
We're not going to check out.
Because I thought you were going to sample my gut biome, and I wasn't excited about that. Yeah, biome in general means,
biome.
Yes, a large, naturally occurring community of flora and fauna accompanying or occupying a major habitat, which could be Leo's gut or the forest
Yeah.
you're walking up.
But pretty much anything I say, you automatically think the grossest thing you can about it. So,
Well, that's the most common use of biome now. Although, if you're a Minecraft player,
the biome,
we
yeah.
talk about biomes all the time because
Yeah.
there's a desert biome and a forest biome and so forth.
does your skin have a biome too?
You bet.
I feel like I've heard that
You
in
bet.
skincare products. Like, take
Yeah,
care of
basically, your biome is just what it said, the mass of flora and fauna in a particular area.
All right, well, let's check
So
out
we always should qualify it with the word, which biome.
which biome. The biome around us.
Our
So
our local biome.
Yes. Well, not necessarily local, but just nature. So we're going to, this is just it's a good, I don't know why it started in spring, because I guess I'm at spring. It's one of those apps for kids where they can just tap around and see what happens. Like, oh, I'm going to make it rain because plants need rain, or let's plant a tree.
Oh, it's a game.
Yeah, it's just an open-ended game. And you can also figure out what, I think
Did you
can
make
tap
that
on.
cow pass gas? I believe you did.
Well, that's methane is important. I don't think that's a deer.
Okay, well, they do the same.
And I can pull this out and I can see, oh, that's a white oak. What can I learn about
that's
a white
neat.
oak?
This is cool.
I can learn, I don't know what I can learn about it, but it's just, you just keep tapping around and seeing what happens and plant some more white oak seeds. And I can make time change. So if I want to go back in time, I can go back in time. Or if I want to go forward in time, I can go forward in time. So it's nighttime, daytime, and
This is it.
Yep, and then you can see what's under the
there's
root system.
There's the root system. It's kind of cool.
And
This is for 2-year-olds?
I would say, well,
Younger children.
I would say 4, 5, 6.
Yeah,
and
you
up.
could learn
I mean,
a lot about
You can
the
learn
world.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can learn Spanish if you want. So that would be maybe for a little bit older.
Okay.
You can.
Can we frack?
No, no fracking. No
Not
fracking,
yet, but soon.
Leo.
Soon we'll be able to frack.
Ooh, the sanguinaria.
Sanguinaria. That's
So-
the blood root.
I don't even, and I guess maybe we're still in
Sanguinaria.
Spanish. Are we still in Spanish?
Yes.
Ooh, French.
Let's do it in Francais,
Ooh,
Deutsch,
German. Oh, what's that?
Chinese,
Thank you. And
English.
Let's go back to English. So yeah, just keep. Ooh, mushrooms. Oh, the tawny milk cap mushroom.
I love tawny milk caps. They're not poisonous, are they?
Oh, it feels like I
do
should.
not take mushroom advice from Leo and Megan.
No, do not eat. And
Did
so
you
I
see?
can.
There was a cookbook Rodale was publishing that had a lot of raw mushrooms and acorns and things, and they had to pull it off the market because it was actually dangerous.
Oh,
She's an Instagram thought leader.
oh, that's good. So
But
yeah, I
don't-
can tell that.
But don't eat
don't eat the
acorns without
mushrooms.
leaching first.
Is there anything else you want to do in your biome?
What are we doing with the bear? Are we just telling it where to go?
We can tell it where to go. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? This is very relaxing. I would download this just for. He's not going to eat the deer.
I hope not.
Does it have scary stuff?
No, probably not. Okay, I already learned about the white oak. What else can I learn about? Do you want to learn about these little flowers? The great rhododendron. And I could rain on it.
Do you say rhododendron?
Is that how you spell
Spelled that
rhododendron?
way, yeah.
Is that how you spell?
It's
That's
pronounced
rhododendron.
dendron, right?
Dendron. Oh,
But that
dendron.
sounds like
I always thought it ended in M.
M.
Rhododendron.
Rhododendron.
I always thought it was a rhododendron. The thing I
It's
learned.
from the Greek, you know.
Oh, really? The
Yeah.
Greek for what?
Island tree.
Oh.
No, I made that up. I don't know.
So this is another biome. This is the desert biome. And
It is from the Greek. I didn't make that part up. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't
think isn't good enough to know what it means.
No, it's the Greek for fancy flower.
I used to know. I just can't remember anymore.
Have we seen enough of plants?
Rhododendron. Rhodo in the Greek is dendron is tree. I think you're right. From the ancient Greek, rose tree. Rhodon is rose. Dendron is tree.
So I think I'm going back in time to the time of the dinosaurs, but I'm not sure.
Cool. How many spins does it take? Oh, look at. Oh, you know what? I like this program. This isn't just for little kids.
No, it's
This is
not.
fun.
You would. Whoa.
They're going to the watering hole.
Yeah. Ooh, it's the dry season. So plants.
I don't
by Tiny
think
Bob.
given that just took a year, it's going to take a while to get back to the dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'll just keep being here. We'll see you next week.
Maybe 20 or 30 million spins of the dial there.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so plants. That's all I can show you.
Is it my turn?
I think it is your turn, yes.
Oh, it's just called plants.
It's called plants.
It's not a good name. Because it's more than plants. It's got bears and deer.
Yeah.
It's got all sorts of stuff. I love this.
Those are all the Tiny Bob.
You know what? I want to celebrate this because, so they do stuff for other.
Yeah, I've shown you the body apps. There's a make your own robot app. There's, as Kevin pointed out, as he has wanted to do, the shark app.
It's raining.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. So I came in puzzled, baffled, bewitched, bothered, bewildered, didn't have an app cap. The lovely Colleen Goldstein said, "Oh, have you seen Chef's Feed?" "Whatever is Chef's Feed?" I asked her. She said, "Imagine kind of like Zagat or Yelp, but instead of being done by the unwashed masses, it's done by unwashed chefs."
Oh.
So they have experts. Like the chef, the girl in the fig, one of my favorite restaurants, John Tools. Lauren Feldman from Anthill Farms Winery. So these are all local places, but they have experts because you tell it where you are. They have experts, and then they give you recommendations. People, not just from normal people. Actually, this doesn't have a lot of information, though. Just maybe a recommendation you go there, which I highly recommend, by the way. This is one of our favorite.
But you could also suggest an edit for that. It said.
Yeah.
Say how much you love it.
It has features. Canada's culinary paradise. That's almost an oxymoron. Spend a few days in Kelowna.
We love you, Canadians.
The impossibly lush Okanagan Valley.
Oh, egg and toast.
Egg and toast is good. What do you call that? Do you have a name?
I think the egg in the hole.
Egg in a hole, yeah.
Egg in the hole. What do you call it?
When I was growing up, my mom called it a bird's nest.
Oh.
Yeah. Chill as hard as possible off the clock. Join Chef Yoni Levy for an off-the-clock stop at a famous local deli. This looks like a food lover's paradise. It's free. You can sign in. You don't have to. If you create an account, though, you can save, gotta go there, stuff like that. So you've got experts. You've got guides. Behold the banana.
Ooh.
Hats off to the underdog of fruit. Banana pudding, banana conda cocktail from the Snack Boys of Milwaukee, the lovely bunch cocktail from the Aviary in Chicago. This is so awesome. I don't want to rate it right now. By the way,
you just rated it in the podcast. You just said
I'm rating it. By the way, here's a little trick. If you get that and you keep getting it, press yes. Go to the iTunes store and then exit, and it doesn't know you didn't rate it. It'll just think you did, and then it'll never bother you again.
I think you could turn that off too.
I wish you could. Burger Inspirations drives me nuts. I think Apple's changed things. If I had an account, I could save this. Burger Inspiration, where to grab oysters right now, venture into vegan. So this is really great, and then it has a map of our area and places it recommends. By the way, yeah, I'm really impressed because of all the places in our neighborhood it could recommend, from the Lagunitas Brewing Company to the International House of Pancakes, it recommends actually the exact thing I would recommend if I were a local.
Do they have vegetarian dogs?
No, Roy's Chicago Dogs at the Yard. This is at the stockyard. This is where they auction off animals, which is why I've never eaten there. Because, let's face it, what the hell's that dog made out of? But no, they're real Chicago dogs, Vienna sausages.
Alex Gumpel eats there on a regular basis.
Oh, Alex, would you please bring me one back? Oh, see, there are recommendations. So I guess, okay. Yoni Levy. Okay, we were just talking about Yoni.
Oh, yeah.
I lived in Chicago for 7 years. I ate Chicago dogs every week. This is the real deal. These dudes killed it. That is what you're looking for. That is real inside information, and not just from some man on the street or woman on the street or small child on the street, but from a real actual chef who lived and worked in Chicago for years. To me,
yeah, better than Yelp, like some disgruntled person.
And I would still use Yelp. I mean, I wouldn't give up on everything else, but I just think this is a really great adjunct. And it's free. And I thank you, Colleen, for recommending this. I am thrilled about it. It's called Chef's Feed. And I was a little put off by the skull and bones icon. But, that's how chefs are. Mm-hmm. They're kind of edgy. So it's a little edgy, but not badly so. It's good. Chef's Feed. And there's a website that goes along with it, too. You can go to the website, chefsfeed.com. And that's our apps caps.
Oh, yeah. It is. The skull and bones is weird.
Well, it's a fork and knife instead of bones. But it's very Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that style. I don't mind that. That's fine. If you ever worked in a restaurant, that's kind of the spirit.
Everyone should work in a restaurant.
At least once when they're young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not all the time.
Because you stay up late. And have pie.
We've done it. We've done the show. We've done all the things.
We do this show because we love you.
Mm-hmm.
And you love us. Well, then you can watch it live when we do it, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. That'd be 1600 UTC. Twit.tv/live. That's approximate on Tuesdays. Because I have a Siri suggestion that says, Megan, I'm late. I'll be there in a bit, which I use every week. So, really more like 9:30. Okay, let's be honest. But do tune in and watch live. If you do, join us in the chat room, irc.twit.tv. Chef's Feed is also on Apple TV.
Oh. I'm going to watch that while I eat microwave popcorn tonight for dinner.
Aunt Pruitt says, Adam Carolla said tattooed sleeves used to mean you were a Hell's Angels member. Now it means you can make an awesome pork belly slider. I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's true. If you can watch live, please do. You can watch or listen, by the way. We have audio and video feeds. You can also be in our studio audience. Tickets at twit.tv. We don't get a lot of people. It's so early in the morning. Most people are just sleep in and come see Mac Break Weekly, which is right after.
Oh, I just pretended they were there the whole time. All those people that are there for Mac Break Weekly.
No, come for iOS Today and stay for Mac Weekly. Right? Mm-hmm. Mac Break Weekly. Mm-hmm. It's like an all Apple day on Tuesdays. Let's see, what else? Oh, if you want to be on the show, Megan can tell you.
Mm-hmm. Megan at twit.tv. You can email me a video, short one, maybe under a minute, for sure under a minute, 30 seconds. And you can ask a question to Megan at twit.tv, or you can ask your question to me on Twitter. I'm at Megan Morrone.
We love it if you send us videos, little short videos or questions like that, because that really helps us make the show more like what you want, right?
We like to see your faces, too.
Please subscribe, too. We have on-demand versions, audio and video, of everything we do at twit.tv, in this case, twit.tv/iOS. And press that subscribe button and subscribe in your favorite podcast application, whether it's Overcast, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Slacker, iTunes, Google. But if you subscribe, then you'll get the episode the minute it's available Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Yay. Build a bong. Build a bong.